Are you ready for the 21st century? We are not living through an economic recession, but a reorganization of our society. The crisis will last as long as general confidence is not restored. In the 1700s, the first industrial era. This was the era of industrialized production. In the 1900s, the second industrial era. Seeking profits at all costs, thanks to enlarging territories. In this century, the post-industrial era. This will be an era in which we will seek a better quality of life. Rupture. History unfold. In era. With each era, societies become more complex. We are now facing the beginning of a new era. Time's arrow can be changed. In the 1700s, a few people and tools in a small territory. In the 1900s, lots of people and tools in a large territories. In this century, the use of many new technologies by a majority of people on the planet. Society. In the 1700s, society is organized on the basis of countries. In the 1900s, territories and countries are organized based on their presence on a continent. In this century around the planet, major cities are the capitals. Rupture. 50% of the planet's inhabitants live in cities. 20% of human beings feel they live there in cyberspace. Citizens are no longer passive, they can become active participants in social networks. Economy. In the 1700s, it was developed from a focus on the primary sector natural resources. It was built on local production destined for national markets. In the 1900s, markets developed in secondary sectors, transforming. Profits are everything. Markets are based on distribution networks owned by monopolies. In this century, it may become a model of democracies with market. It will be based on third and fourth sector markets. Service and high-tech. It will develop around the principles of customization, thus proximity to customers, via millions of interest groups. Rupture. The law of supply to the law of demand. From now on, the consumer will decide. From the unique dominant position of the USA, towards three major players. From an economy based on scarcity, towards an economy based on abundance. Information technologies. In the 1700s, one medium for everything. In the 1900s, several different media, but isolated from each other for the same audience. In this century, all media will be integrated into one network, which will become a public space of the 21st century. In that public network, space culture will emerge and be formed. Rupture. We are moving from mass media to personalized media, from analog to digital, from the production of content by marketers towards content generated by citizens and users. The generational rupture. Traditionalists, boomers, digital immigrants. They prefer print. Generation X, baby boomers, integrators. They prefer television. Generation Y, net users, digital natives. They prefer internet. We are moving from passive and controlled traditional media to younger generations who inform themselves using the open and interactive web. Several conclusions. 10 years from now, the post-industrial era will have created a society that is post-capitalist, American, baby boomer, Internet one. This society must place the human being at the center of its considerations, and not just consider the current perspective, humans as consumers destined to sustain the economy. Continuous serial ruptures equals revolution. The major crisis we are now experiencing is also a unique opportunity to change the ways we live in our current model of society. What legacy do you want to leave to our children? More secure, more economic, more participative, more green. Do we want a more secure society? Gun ownership by civilians. US 89%. Yemen 55%. Switzerland 40%. $60 billion. $300 billion. $800 billion. 50% Americans. 769. 4,177,176. Scenario 1. The mechanisms of state security. Do we want to be more voracious consumers? Consumers are 50% more in debt than 10 years ago. The numbers of personal bankruptcies has just increased by 34% in 2008. Will we live in economic slavery? Under a facade of democracy? Scenario 2. The mechanisms of a consumer society. Do we want to participate in the development of our society? 580 million people use social networking platforms. 250 million active users on Facebook. 120 million users log on at least once a day. We must learn to live together as brothers, or perish together as fools. Scenario 3. The participatory state. Do we want a green society? Endangered birds, 1 on 7. Amphibians, 1 on 3. Mammals, 1 on 5. 1/3 of the rubbish filling up our landfills is packaging. Scenario 4. The mechanisms of a green society. What do you think? What's your personal vision? Visit www.constellationw.com and share your thoughts, ideas and suggestions.